Hey guys, Joey here, back with another Zenless Zone video. This time I'll be talking about a beginner's combat guide that is updated for the new players and returning players coming in, since there's been a few changes since the launch of the game. So before we first get started, I'd like to introduce you guys to the VR device. And this is the best place for you guys to learn the new combat mechanics of your character. So how I will set this up is to go in here, click on the free training. You can select your characters that you want to use and then just deploy. And then you can just wait for the arena to get loaded. Now once you load into the arena, you can actually instantly pause, and this is when you are able to set up. So I would suggest putting the enemy to invulnerable and their level to the max. And now you can start practicing. So let's get started. Now going over the combat interface, you're going to be able to see your 3 agents in order of how you selected them before entering combat. And the most active character is the one at the left side. So you are able to switch freely to the next character by pressing the spacebar. And you're also able to switch to the previous character by pressing the C key. You're also able to see the HP bar on the top left, which is highlighted in green. And directly below it, there's going to be a smaller bar, and this is your energy bar. So the energy bar is going to be tied to your EX special skill, and this will be covered later on. So the energy bar has a maximum of 120 energy, and there's also an arrow indicator in the middle, and this indicates the energy threshold required in order to launch your EX special. So the most common energy threshold are 40, 60 and 80 energy. So as you can see for Rina, she has a 60 energy threshold, and for Nico, she has an 80 energy threshold. Now directly under each of the character UI, there may or may not be another character specific mechanic. So let's see, for example, Trigger. She has a different energy bar here, but this is actually tied to her core mechanic skill, which is called Purge. So if I shoot at the enemy, this bar will go up and is tied to her skill instead. And lastly, for your active character, there's actually a hidden buff UI directly under their HP. So let's say if I use Rina, which is going to be available for the upcoming anniversary, I'm going to use her attack to buff, and then when I switch over to the next character, the active character has an active buff here, as you can see. So with that, now we are going to be able to talk about the attack mechanics of the game. At the bottom right, you're going to be able to see all this UI, and this is all related to the attacking related mechanics of the game. So you have your left click, which is your basic attack, and if you continue to spam it, you're able to see the basic attack sequence of the character. Now some characters actually have a special charge attack, so if you hold left click like Rina here, you're going to see a different kind of animation. You also have your dash attack, which is holding the right click down to dash, and then we press your left click, and it's able to do this animation. Now, your E here is going to be your special attack. So if you don't have enough energy, it's going to be not light up, and you press it, it's just doing a special attack. But when you have enough energy, just like Rina here, it's going to be light up, and when you press it, it's going to be a special attack. Now this special attack is usually the core skill of your character, so you want to be using it as often as possible. Now, the next thing is your ultimate or your decibel rating. So at the top left, you're going to be able to see these points, and when they hit 3000 points, you're going to be able to use your ultimate. So right here, I'm going to enable ultimate, and when I press Q, I'm going to be able to launch my ultimate. Now as of 1.4 update, the ultimate is no longer shared between each character, so you can actually launch an ultimate right here with Nico. And when you swap to a different character, they have their ultimate also, and you can just launch it again. So looking at the enemy, you're going to be able to see their HP bar, and directly below it is going to be something called the Daze meter. This is an important combat mechanic of Zenless, because it essentially allows you to stun the enemy, deal more damage, and trigger something called a chain attack. So in order to stun, you have to start building the Daze meter to 100 through using attacks. And once you actually hit 100, your Daze meter will start flashing, and this is when you can trigger a chain attack through something called a heavy attack. So heavy attacks are usually the last hit of a basic attack sequence, your special skill, your EX special, or your ultimate. So the fastest way to actually trigger a heavy attack is to use a special, and that is when you're going to be able to trigger a chain attack. Now chain attacks are actually only able to trigger once on a normal mob, 2 times on an elite mob, and 3 times on a boss mob. Usually you'll be using chain attacks with your main DPS, so in order to do so, you have to cancel a chain attack that doesn't have your main DPS by pressing the middle mouse button, after which, you'll have to swap to another character and use their heavy attack to trigger a chain attack with your main DPS. Once the Daze meter becomes grey, the countdown starts for the enemy to recover and chain attacks cannot be triggered anymore. The next combat mechanic is going to be assist, and this is a very important defensive mechanic in Zenless zone. It allows you to block an enemy's attack when there is a goal indicator upon pressing the swap button. This is called a perfect assist, and performing one will consume 1 assist point against a normal attack by enemy, and 2 assist points against a heavy attack. You will always start off with a total of 6 assist points. As of patch 1.4, each chain attack and every ultimate will refund 1 assist point only. Perfect assists are split into 2 categories. Defensive assists are performed for melee agents, and inflicts a substantial amount of daze. This allows you to perform a follow-up assist attack, which deals damage and daze as well. Evasive assists are performed for ranged agents instead, giving vital view which slows time down. This allows you to reposition and swap agents as required. Another type of assist is the quick assist, which can be performed when characters are knocked down. This allows for a quick swap to the next character, which instantly attacks the enemy. Quick assists are also built into agents kit, most commonly found in support agents. A common thought is that quick assists always swap to the next character in line, but this is not always the case. Triggers quick assist, for example, swaps to the previous character instead. So make sure to read the agent's quick assist description carefully. Now what happens if you run out of assist points? That's when you will face red indicator attacks from the enemy and will have to start dodging. This is where invincibility frames comes into play, or iframes. Iframes allows you to negate damage from enemies completely when your agent is under an iframe. Ultimates, chain attacks, EX specials, perfect assist, and perfect dodge all have iframes. Dodging can be done using the dash button and has a rough cooldown of 1 second. Timing a dodge correctly at a red indicator attack will trigger a perfect dodge. A white flash and a brief time slow will occur when triggering a perfect dodge. This allows for a dodge counter when following up with a basic attack, which deals damage and resets the cooldown of dodging. If you use the assist button instead against a red indicator attack, it will trigger a perfect dodge as well. However, this can cause the initial agent to take damage if they are still in an attacking animation while iframe. This can be taken advantage of by using a special mechanic called EX Swap Dodge. Timing an EX special while pressing the switch button on a red indicator attack will iframe the initial agent, do damage, and still trigger a perfect dodge from the incoming agent. Now as an added bonus, I'd like to be sharing a hidden mechanic for M1 Nico. What her M1 does is basically every time you charge her EX special attack, the longer you hold, the duration of the energy field is also going to be longer. So here's a demonstration. So if you do it normally with her E, this is going to last about 5 seconds. But if you use a hidden mechanic which is doing this E, it's going to have a different animation, and this is going to make the energy field last longer. So what you guys want to do is make sure that your mouse, it has to position the camera in the center, and as you hold E, you're going to press WASD in a circular motion, basically make it 360, and this is going to give you the animation. However, this can be quite tricky for PC players, so what I would recommend is going to your options, your mouse and keyboard, scroll all the way down to special attack, and over here you can click on mouse and use a mouse button such as the mouse 4 or mouse 5, and so this will make it easier for you guys, so you can hold it down and move your WASD. It's as simple as that. So yeah, that wraps up the video. Hope you guys managed to enjoy yourself, and I hope to see you guys again. Subscribe and join me on Twitch. Take care.